And they're turning on their cameras.
Yes, we appreciate everyone turning on the cameras. Alan Nanny, good to see you on. Robert Kopp, thanks for having your camera on.
Yeah.
I think I've said hello to Glenn Harris already. Love it.
The Gallon is crushing it.
Martin Greenwood just turned his camera on. Cesar Cepeda, keep your eye on the road, man. You're in my rev share. You're worth a lot of money to me, so don't crash.
Hey Robert, haven't seen you in a while. How you been, brother?
Hi, Gene. I'm doing well, man. Good to see you.
Good to be seen, baby.
Ron
It's
How's it
always
Bisbee,
good
going,
to be
Robert?
seen.
good to see you on. Love it.
Lance Petway, how you doing, buddy? Haven't seen you in a while. Love to see your face. If you can turn on your cameras, guys.
Hey, I'm just finishing up, Scott. Unfortunately, my mom passed away last week, so I'm handling some
Oh,
memorial stuff.
oh,
So
God
I'll be
bless.
on in 1 second.
All right, man.
God bless you.
God bless. Yeah.
I appreciate you guys.
Okay.
There's Keith Andrews.
Let's
Hello,
see.
Scott.
What's
I'm going to
up,
make a
buddy?
few more
I
of
looked at the
you
weather channel
co-hosts just to
and
help me
it
out in case you
says,
see people pop up while Gene, Scott, and I are talking. Help us let people in, please. Thank
okay, it says
you.
76 degrees every night there and 84 and 86 every day there. I'm coming.
Coming to Puerto Rico, baby. I love it. So I
That's
saw
right.
I saw you got your ticket. That's great.
Yep.
Yes, that's awesome.
The winter we call it, I call it Mr. 82. It's 82 for a high, 72 for a low all winter. And Gene is in the house. Yeah.
Love it. I love it. All right. Well, let's get going. It's 1 minute past the hour. Everybody, welcome to Power Hour Agent Attraction Training. Gene, Scott, we run this call twice a month. And no better person to kick off 2026 than the legend, Mr. Gene Frederick. Actually, you know, I'm also going to introduce Scott Lewis because Scott's our co-host here today. Scott is the guy responsible for changing my life. 8 years ago now, since he made the phone call for me to join EXP. Wow, it's been a whirlwind. It's been a lot of fun. Scott called me and basically got my attention. And 3 days later, I left everything behind and came over to EXP. And my life has changed since then with Revenue Share. And that's what this call is all about: coaching, training, teaching you all about building your revenue share organization to set yourself free and hopefully set others free. Scott, I'm going to ask you to get introduce Gene. I love Gene. I know who he is, but why don't you give Gene the introduction, and then we'll turn it over to Gene to pour into us about 2026 and what has changed, what is changing, and how do we keep up with all the exciting things that's happening around the world.
Well, Gene Frederick needs no introduction, that's for sure. I mean, I think everybody on this call knows who Gene is. And but yes, Gene changed my life 10 years ago. I drove from San Antonio to Austin, Texas. We had lunch at the Capitol Grill, and he began to share with me this new concept or new idea of something that he was very excited about. And I just remember Gene saying, "Well, I really hadn't thought about getting outside of Austin the first year, but if you're serious and you want to build in San Antonio, I'll make the trip." And he regularly made the trip over and over and over again. Matter of fact, I think it was the day before Christmas. He sat down and with Pat Hayes and showed like 8 people that he shared this with, like the day before Christmas, and I wasn't even there. And so he was from the very beginning. He was building my business when I wasn't there, and he still does that today. He truly. I'll just say this about Gene. I don't know anyone still today that relates to people better than Gene Frederick and that has a better pulse on this industry. He's been in it a long time. He's seen a lot of the cycles, and so I can't wait to hear what he has to say today because I know he's looking at this new decade or this new year 10 years later, with a different perspective than he probably did last year. And because he's always on point. And so I'm going to turn it over to Gene and let him go. And then I definitely want to talk a little bit about our event coming up at the end, Tom. But Gino, take it off, man. We love you. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you guys. See a lot of my friends on this call. See a lot of you that I see at the events. And thank you for even sharing time with me. Say hi. Hey, by the time we had this call today, I looked it up. 25% of you have already not achieved your New Year's resolution. It's a fact. 25% on the call, it's already gone. By the end of the month, 50% of you have already given up on your New Year's resolution. By the middle of February, 85% of the people, New Year's resolutions gave up. I want to share with you today about why the 15% succeed. Okay? I know why in other words, the 15% succeed. Guys, I've been researching this forever. I've lived it. Okay? Yes. There's reasons 15% succeed, and you go, well, how'd Scott Lewis do that? How'd Tom Truong do that? I got news for you to give you the secrets today. Get your pen and paper out. Okay? I'm going to go for a little bit. I want you to think about what I'm talking about today, and I'm going to do it through story form because I'm going to tell you how it's affected my life and what happened. I took over an office. I'm going to tell you this because it's in my book. I wrote about it. In 2010, and I had the first meeting of my 12 staff members. I took over an office in Austin, Texas for Keller Williams. It had 320 agents. You go, that's a big office. But guess what I announced to the staff the first day? We're number one out of 700 market centers in what? Losing agents. Woo! 2 years in a row, this office was the dead last worst recruiting office in all of Keller Williams. Guess what I did? I said, guys, that's over. Here's my vision. We're going to be number one in recruiting. We will be number one in recruiting. And when we're number one in recruiting, we will never give that up. Okay? It's not just being number one year. We'll be number one every year. That's my vision. Now, I got news for you. These 12 people, you can read my book, David McMillan told me, he says, Gene, they were really not good workers. I said, what do you mean? He goes, they're terrible. I said, really? I said, don't tell me that. I said, we're going to meet every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I'm going to do one thing that I recognize. You know what I recognize? There was a cog in the wheel. There was a reason we weren't recruiting. All my 12 staff members were doing good jobs, but I didn't have anybody leading the charge in what? The one thing I wanted to do, recruit real estate agents. So I hired a staff member to do nothing but take a brand new agent, take them to the tech person, get their tech set up, go to get their cards and signs set up, go to the broker, meet the MCA. And I had that person, your only job is to get agents signed up. She was an Asian gal. She didn't speak really good English, but she was awesome. I'm telling you, it was the best hire I've ever made. Guess what happened over time? If you guys have ever read a Keller Williams office, I had a broker, her name was Alice. She was a tough nut, right? You want your broker to be a tough nut. Do you think she wanted the office to grow? What do you think?
More for her.
No. She would look at me, what? We're going to recruit more agents? I can't handle this. I don't want to look at any more contracts. So what I did was change the attitude of everybody in the office. I'm telling you, it was a slow move. It doesn't happen overnight. This won't happen to you too. It won't happen overnight. Celebrate the easy successes. That first year, we netted about 40 agents. I turned the tide. The second year, we added a little agents. Turned the tide. By the third year, now this is what's fun, Scott. By the third year, With a month left in the year 2012, we were fifth in the nation in recruiting out of 700 offices. Number five. Now, here's what's kind of cool. This is where you're going to get out of it. I went to my staff members and said, man, and by the way, Scott, by the third year, the broker, the first thing I said every Monday morning, how many agents are coming in today? And the little Asian woman said, here's how many agents we've got. And guess what the broker said after a while, Scott? How many agents we got this week? I mean, she was like fired up because that was the one thing I had focused on. So by the third year, we're fifth place with a month to go. And I got the staff together and I said, you know what? I said, I looked at the teams, offices above us. We have a chance to pass everybody and be number one if we kill it in December. But you know, December for recruiting and real estate offices were my slowest month of the year. The year before, I recruited 6 people. 6. So I knew team leaders take off, Scott. They take off for Christmas. The staff takes off. You know, it's kind of just a slow month of recruiting, right? Well, I went to all of them. I said, you know what? I just looked at it. I think if we recruit 40 people this month, we can pass everybody. You want to go for it? And you know what the whole staff did after? Yeah, put our hands together. I said, I'm going to work every single day but Christmas and every single day but New Year's. And I'm here. And the whole staff said, yeah, we will too. Boom. I'm interviewing people on Saturdays. I'm interviewing people on Sundays. And I set a goal to recruit 40 people. Now, here's what happened. Didn't reach our 40. Guess how many people we recruited? 34. And when the instead of recruiting 6 the year before, we recruited 34. When it got posted, Scott, we got the award. Guess who was number one? Woohoo! Northwest Market Center in Austin. We were number one. We had recruited 227 agents in 1 year in one office. But we recruited 34 of them in December. Now, here's what's kind of cool. A week after we became number one, I had to go to my boss, the annual meeting, middle of January, and we're driving down, and I can remember my assistant team leader, who had been with me a month, by the way. He'd only been an assistant team leader a month, never been a recruiter before. We're driving down, and I said, well, what are we going to tell her? How many people are we going to recruit in 2013? And you know what he said? I said, well, I think we should say 250, right? We just did 227. That was a record for Keller Williams at the time. Let's say 250, right? Let's be reasonable.
Welcome to the
you know what this
community of cost.
Oh, there's somebody. But anyway, this guy, you're going to laugh. You know what the new guy said? He'd only been a team leader for 30 days. Didn't we recruit 34 in December? Somebody on this call, take 34 times 12.
168.
No, 34 times 12.
408.
Oh, 408.
Four-
Thank you.
408.
Yep.
And we're driving down to meet my boss. He says, can't we do 34 every month? We just did it. I said, dang it, you're right. He says, can't every month be December? Guess what happened? We went into our boss and said, we did 227, a record for Keller Williams. But you know what we're going to do this year? She goes, what? We're going to do 400. Huge goal. Write it down. You stress yourself until you set huge goals. Guess what happened in 2013? Now, here's what I'm going to tell you in 2013. This is the key to achieving big success. I had that goal written down. We met every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But my list of agents to recruit, I can show you pictures of me. I was trying to recruit 60 agents a month. Never got there. But there are a lot of months I recruited 40. And I was so into it that if you had dinner on a Saturday night at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, said, Gene, how's it going? I'm going, here, look at it. I had it with me. I mean, I had my goals. I had it with me every single day for 365 days. So guess what happened? We didn't do 400. We did 366. And to this day, that was 2013, Scotty, nobody's beaten that record. You need to set bigger goals. You need to stretch yourselves and you need to celebrate your successes, but you need to get your whole team on board. Huge goals is really key. The other thing is writing them down and keeping them with you all the time. I'm going to tell you another quick story here. You guys know some guy named Elon Musk? Who's that dude? Okay, some guy named Elon. I heard him talking about this, Tom, the other day. It's great. I mean, I listened to the whole thing. He says, until 2018, he didn't know this one thing that he should be doing. Here's what happened. In 2018, if you don't know the story, people were shorting Tesla stock. He was producing 2,000 cars a week, but he needed to do 5,000 a week to make money, or else Tesla was going to go under. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but this is real. And you know what he said? He said, I was working from 6 in the morning till 12 at night. Maybe that sounds like real estate, right? 6 in the morning till 12 at night. I was doing 15 meetings with all my clients. I was really just focused. And what I found is that's not what I should have been doing. I actually looked at the factory and our whole automobile process, and I figured out there was only 3 things keeping us from producing 5,000 cars instead of 2,000. And instead of working tons and tons of hours on different stuff, he picked one thing the first month, the first cog in the wheel in his process. He said, I spent 100% of my time on that. I spent 100% of my time on that. Write that down. He goes, I didn't do anything else. I didn't have meetings with staff. I've spent 100% of my time on that. I fixed that the first month. Then I spent 100% of my time on the second cog. And then I spent 100% of my time on the third month, the third cog. And guess what happened? In 3 months, they were producing 5,000 cars a week. Tesla was on their way. He said, I didn't realize. You know what he said? I was just working hard before I did the one thing I should be doing. Just so you know, I sold real estate for a long time and I was selling 120 homes a year. If you're selling homes today, what's the one thing you should be doing? Getting more leads, getting more listings, meeting with more buyers. Everything else doesn't matter. That's why I wrote a book on lead generation 20 years ago, because I taught agents, whoever has the most leads, what? Wins the game. Okay? Right?
Yep.
We're talking recruiting today. You know, Scott, I thought about this the other day. When Glenn Sanford and Jason Gessing got me, they had no idea I knew it would work. People have asked me all the time, how'd you know EXP was going to work? I said, well, I'm going to write down my goals. I'm going to, are you kidding? I'm going to keep them with me every single day of the year. I'm going to meet people on 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Oh, I had a schedule. They didn't know I knew how to set goals, set a vision, and accomplish things, right? And then when I met Scott Lewis, I'd go into his office. He goes, Gene, look at all the people I've got. Here's my goals. Here's what I'm doing. Here's my boom, 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 boom. Big goals, not small goals, big goals. Then I meet with Rob Flick, and Rob goes, hey, Gene, look at my goals. And we all accomplished this with everybody, not me. It was through everybody. And then I meet Tom, and Tom's going crazy. So here's the key. What's the one thing you should be doing for recruiting this year? Do you have it? So that you're doing it, everything else becomes obsolete. By the way, you've got to find your purpose. Write that down. I was on a call, Scott, last night with South Korea at 10 o'clock Puerto Rican time, 11 o'clock in the morning in South Korea. We already have 32 agents in South Korea in a month. The guy leading the charge, he's another Tom Truong or Scott Lewis. You know what he told me? Hey, Gene, in 2 weeks, we'll have 100. He says, are you going to come celebrate us when we have 500 this summer? I got another Scott Lewis. I got another Brent Gove. I mean, this guy, he goes, gee, we're doing this. Does it make sense? And you know what they said on the call? Why are you on this call? What, don't you have it? I mean, why are you? I said, I haven't accomplished my purpose. My purpose is to help you guys and every single real estate agent that wants to, the 15%, by the way, the 85% I can't help. The 15%, I want 15% of EXP to be able to retire with grace. to have money coming in for the rest of their lives, to be able to leave a legacy for their family. And got news for you. Scott knows this is how I've been talking for 10 and a half years. That's my mission in life, right? Sure, I'll be on calls for all you guys, right? Because guess what? This is my mission. It's not done. Here's the key. When you do the three things I told you about, set the vision, make it big, write it down, make sure you're doing the one thing that's most important. The key to all of this, you don't have to share it with everybody. I'm being real with you. You know, when I say that, we are entrepreneurs. Most people don't understand us. I have four brothers and a sister. My four brothers still don't understand me. My one sister, who's a realtor in Scottsdale, Arizona, Ann Collins, if you ever need a great agent in Scottsdale, she's awesome. She understands me, right? I can share my goals and visions with her, but if I do with my brother, what will they say? Oh, you're not realistic. You're really gonna, if I would have shared that goal of recruiting 400 agents in a year, what do you think the other people, even my compadres, my buddies would have said, really? Come on, be realistic. You're way out of whack, Gene. So I've kept my big goals to myself a lot, and I only share them with people that I know that are going to celebrate with me. And they have bigger goals than I do. Big goals, write this. Huge goals require huge action, right? If you want to recruit one agent a month, not a lot of action. You want to recruit 10 agents a month, more action. You want to recruit, my first year at EXP, I recruited 20 agents my first month. EXP didn't even have a name. Nobody even knew who it was. Why? Because I set big goals and big action, right? So whatever goals you set, your vision, that's the actions you're going to take. Does that sound good to you guys? Now, I'm going to give you one thing to do for attraction, Scotty, and then I'll ask, people can ask me questions. I've been teaching this forever, and if you guys did this one thing, I think I could change your lives in attraction this year. I had an agent when I was at Keller Williams. His name is Trey Williams. By the way, he's with us now. You guys, some of you guys might know Trey, good agent in Dallas. But Trey was the number one producer at my when I was running a Keller Williams office in Dallas for 8 straight years. 100 homes a year with himself and one assistant. Didn't have a big team, just him and one assistant, 100 homes a year. Our top producer every year for individuals. And in those 8 years, being number one, he never recruited anybody to Keller Williams. He never talked about Keller Williams. So I got with him and I said, and he's an engineer type mind. Some of you guys that are engineers or gals, I'm an ex-accountant. I kind of have an engineer mind. I said, Trey, if I give you a plan of action, would you take it? He goes, yeah. I said, well, why don't you do this? Here's what I want you to do. Write this down, guys. 3 days after closing, when you close on a property, I want you to call that other agent. I want to go, Robert, it was awesome working with you. I can't believe we got that little booger done. I've got a small gift of appreciation I'd like to give you. Let's meet at Starbucks next Tuesday at 8 o'clock. 5 minutes. Just want to give you a thank you. And you meet another agent. Sometimes I would tell them, you don't even get to meet the other agent now, do you? Everything's email. Everything's texting. You guys don't even call people anymore, right? But I'd call them up and say, you know what? I just wanted to say thanks. Trey goes, cool. Gene, what do I do? I said, go meet him. He did it. He called these agents 3 days. He says, they met at Starbucks. Guess what he did? He called me at Starbucks. He says, Gene, they want to know about Keller Williams. What do I say? I said, don't say anything. You haven't been saying anything for 8 years. He started laughing. I said, no, you'll mess it up. He goes, yeah, they really do want to know. And I said, well, set me up an appointment. And they came over and of course I did the interview and they joined. They were the number one husband and wife team for a company in Dallas with 1,500 agents, Ebby Holiday Realty. He met them one time, did one transaction, gave one thank you. Now I am telling you this works. This works on steroids. Everybody on this, I'll look at all the faces I'm looking at right now. How many people here last year got a thank you? Did the agent ever call you and say, let's meet, I want to give you something?
No.
Set yourself apart. You know what? I love my buddies at Coldwell Banker. I do. I love all realtors. It's a funky thing. We're weird ducks. And you know what? I know how hard they work. I want to tell them thank you. And so when you go, here's what I want you to do. Real simple. I get this question all the time. What do I give them? Oh, I don't know. It might be a book that I just wrote. What I'm saying is you should be laughing, but I just wrote this last year, right? I just wrote it. It just came out a few months ago. Why give them Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Give them a book with somebody that's living in Puerto Rico because he's making too much money in rev share, right? And this is an entrepreneurial book, by the way.
Gene,
People are
put that
loving
book up again so folks can take
it.
a quick picture there.
It's called Be the Legend.
There you go.
And you can look it up, BeTheLegendBook.com. It's on Amazon.
All right. There you go.
Now really, I'm serious when I say this. What I would do, and this is what I used to do when I gave books out, because I've given books out all the time as gifts. I put a $10 bill or a $20 bill in on my favorite page and say, hey, when you get a chance, just so you know, I left a little money in there for you. Why don't you buy a book for the next guy? Because you're going to love this book. I'm just telling you guys, this works. You know what's funny? We work so hard to close on deals. I'm telling you, even if I had a hard transaction with an agent, I would call up and say, man, I got to apologize, man. It was tough. I know you had a tough time with that buyer. And I know it was tenseful, but you know what? God bless us. We got this sucker done. Let's go have coffee, right? And talk real estate. Talk business. Don't talk about EXP. It's not the time. It's not the time. If they're like what happened to Trey Williams, they said, well, tell us about EXP. He goes, I don't know. Here, come on Thursday. We do a lunch and learn. In fact, Tom should set one up every week or every 2 weeks where he does a lunch and learn virtually so you can invite people to it. Right? And that's what Scott Lewis and I did all the time in San Antonio and Dallas. I did lunch and learns every year for 3 years. Every Wednesday, Macaroni Grill. Right? So agents could just invite them to the presentation. Does that help you guys? I hope it does. Because I'm telling you, if I could take how many production is on this call, probably millions, tons of transactions. He just did that one thing. By the way, you could go take the list of people you sold homes to last year, agents, do it now. Don't have to wait for a closing this year. Call them up and say, you know what? I was just looking over my transactions last July. Oh, boy, that was a booger. You know what? I just wanted to say thank you. I don't know about you guys. In other words, here's the best script I've ever had in my life. You know what, Robert? I was just thinking about you. Text him. Text that. I was just thinking about you. We closed on something last July and it was tough. I was just thinking about you, dude. How's it going? Let's hook up next Tuesday and talk about the market, what's going to happen this year. Meet agents. Meet them as yourselves. This isn't scripted. This is be yourself, right? In other words, I can't be Brent Gove. I can't be Scott Lewis. I can only be Gene Frederick. When people meet me, I'm real and I'm say, how's it going? You guys have heard me say, T-May, tell me about yourself. And I shut up. What excites you about 2026? Write that down. It's a great script. What excites you? The word excites better than why don't you like it at Century 21? What's bugging you? You go negative. I'm just telling you, Scotty told me I relate well with people. I'm talking a lot right now, but if you were within interviews with me, you would see me ask questions and be quiet, and I would listen intently. I'd be taking notes. I know their dog's name, their cat's name, the bird's name, the three kids' names, I know where they would like to live if they could move from Tampa Bay. Um, why? Because I just asked them questions. I got to know them. By the time they leave, they go, "That was the best interview I've ever had." They don't know anything about me. It's not about me. You want me to give you an example? All the sales books you've read throughout your life are a bunch of bunk. Let me give you the real life. Have you read sales books where they say, make sure you, what is it, relate well with them, or your kid plays soccer. Oh, my kid plays soccer. Oh, your kid plays hockey. My kid plays hockey. That's a bunch of bunk. Let me give you an example. It's all about them. It's not about you. I'm interviewing an agent 20 years ago, 2006. Why do I remember? Because my beautiful wife, Susan, had just gone through breast cancer. By the way, she doesn't have breast cancer anymore, right? It's 20 years later. After 10 years, you
All
don't
right.
even have to say you've had cancer. So she's sitting behind me while I'm interviewing an agent. The agent comes in. She's sitting behind me. She had just shaved her head. She had a blonde wig. Woo-hoo. I was married to a blonde for a while. So I had a blonde wig on. And she was sitting there working. And this guy walks in. What's the first thing I say? Tell me about yourself. What's he say? Oh, it's tough, Gino. He didn't know Gino then. He was tough, Gene. My wife's going through breast cancer surgery right now. I said, tell me about that. 45 minutes later, he signs up. He walks up. Susan turns around and says, you never mentioned me. I said, honey, it's not about us. Can you do that? That's when you're a professional interviewer. She couldn't believe it. She goes, well, it'd be easy for say, well, she's just going through chemo right now. She's going through radiation. All those books are wrong. Whoever listens intently the best and asks the best questions and is really right here, they know if you're listening. They know if your intention. The reason I relate well with people is that I'm not thinking about the next question I'm going to ask, and I'm not thinking about how I'm going to explain EXP. I really want to know about them.
Gene, what you just said there is pretty enlightening for me as well, because I do find myself mirroring the
It's a bunch of
conversation,
bunk, Tom.
and then you're moving the conversation away from them.
Yeah, this mirroring thing, by the way, it's in my book. I just think it's bunk. I'm living proof of it. I can teach you how to recruit better than anybody on earth because I think I've recruited more agents than anybody in real estate. I've been doing it since 1989. I did it the wrong way, Tom, in the beginning. Oh yeah, your kid plays soccer, my kid plays soccer. Because that's the only books I read. And I went, no, it's not it. It's not it. It's all about them. So how's your business? Gosh, it's good, but I need an assistant. Tell me about that. Oh, what do you mean? Oh, yeah, I need an assistant. What kind of assistant? Tell me about that. Boom, 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 boom. I talk about them. So they give me what they want, what they need. And I said, well, you shoot. If we could find an assistant for you, would that help you out? We have attraction close, transaction closing. And so whatever they want is what I talk about. Let me give you another example to drill this home. Elizabeth Riley, you know Elizabeth, she's one of my favorite people. She's my sponsor, right? So she calls me one day and she goes, Gene, I got this top producer. By the way, I just met last night. This is forget about knowing people forever. She goes, I just met him last night at a realtor event, and we're both going to be working out tomorrow. What's that thing when you push the tires and do all that crap? You guys, you healthy people. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever it is, that workout where you push tires and pull things and stuff.
Iron Man.
And she goes, whatever it is. But she goes, the two women, right? They're going to this workout. She goes, can you meet us at Starbucks at like 7:30 after our workout? They're both in their workout clothes. And Vanessa was the gal I was interviewing. And she was number one producer at a small company in Austin, Scott. And I said, well, tell me about yourself. She goes, blah, 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 usually goes personal. And then I said, well, what would excite you about this year? And you know what she said? She said, Gene, it's really crazy. I'm doing 15 million, 15 million, 15 million, 15 million, 4 straight years. I can't crack that $20 million barrier. I said, okay, so if I could help you crack the $20 million barrier, you'd consider coming? She was really, yeah. I go, I will coach Vanessa and get her to crack 20 million. I said, here, just sign this. I said, if I can't do it in 6 months, you can go back. She signed up. Guess what happened? She left. Elizabeth's still there. The meeting was like 10 minutes. And Elizabeth goes, you didn't even talk about revenue share. You didn't even talk about the stock. You didn't even talk about the cap. I said, did she sign up? She goes, yes. I said, okay. The object is to get someone to sign up, not to go through the whole thing, Tom. Does that make sense? It's
Yep.
not to do the whole presentation. You guys got it all wrong. I find out what they want, what they need. I go here. You can go back if it doesn't work. Does that help? Elizabeth, here's the problem with most of you guys. You want to talk about rev share so fast, you can't even ask a good question. You gotta, it's gotta be about them. Everything's about them. And then, and by the way, we're talking recruiting today. I'll give you big tips. 100% of the time, the reason they don't come is because of the spousal unit. Write it down. You need to set up the next appointment after you have a good one with the spouse or the partner. Period. End of story. Because I got news for you. They go home all fired up. I just heard about this new company. Boom, boom, boom. And what's the spouse say? Oh, the Christmas party's next week at Coldwell Banker. I will miss Susie. We can't go. There's no way. The Christmas party's in 3 weeks. And you don't know this. You have no idea what's going behind there. I always, Scott, I've always had second appointments with the spouses as fast as I can. As fast as I can. Because they just mess stuff up. Or the spouse is an engineer. We have tons of women in this business. The husband's an engineer. Oh, I don't think, he's thinking too realistic. Wouldn't that cost a lot with the signs and the cards and the boom, boom, boom? And so you don't know what's going on, right? Second interview with the spouse as soon as possible. The biggest things that I'm sure everybody you've heard 2 million times, you need to do three-way calls with Scott and Tom. You need to bust their butt. They need to be so busy they can't. They call me and go, Gene, I need help. These guys are setting up three-way calls. Boom, 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 boom. That's what Scott Luce did to me. Wore me out. Those are the ones you want to deal with, right? But you ought to be using the three-way call like crazy. I just had a really good agent tell me today, Gene, I'm going to use you finally. I'm going to quit trying to do it all by myself. I said, cool. Load me up. Load me up. Three-way calls. Let's go. Am I helping today? I hate when I'm this big.
Yes, you're upping. It's good stuff. All right,
This
guys.
big, because realistically in person, I'm much better looking. This is just
Yes, you are.
this little bit of me,
You're amazing on camera too, Gene.
Usually the women laugh at that one. I like that.
I like the picture on the book.
Hey, Marissa, how are you? She's so cute. Here's the thing, guys. What's your vision? What's your vision? When I meet you in Cabo, can you just take it out from your, if you're a purse, you'll take it out from the purse. If you're a guy and you have a notebook, you're going to take it out and go, Gene, here's my vision. Here it is. I got it with me. You're right. I'm looking at it every single day. I'm not confused. I know what the one thing I should be doing. I'm not confused. I just look back on it. I get this all the time. How do you know it was going to work? How do you know EXP was going to work? Dudes, there were 400 agents here. 400. EXP was, I used to tell people, what's EXP stand for? I said, one letter better than KW. That was my job for a while. And Susan said, quit saying that. I said, well, I don't know what to say. I don't know what EXP stands for. But um, what I'm saying is that's me. I like to joke, right? That's me. That's my personality. So I couldn't get over it. But at the same point in time, I look back on it. Hey, get this. There were 400 agents. You know what the company's goal was at the end of 2020 that Glenn and Jason told me? Guess what it was? 10,000 agents. Now, going from 400 to 10,000 sounded like a big stretch, didn't it? In 5.5 years. You know what I told them? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I have a stock deal with EXP, and I said I'm a company guy. My stock deal was the production I had to recruit. See, they didn't know who they got. They had all these things in there. You have to recruit this many cappers. You have to recruit this many. It's so funny because when they wrote it all out, I went, oh, I know I can do that. They didn't know, right? So they said, you get this much stock. You know what I said? I'm a company guy. Give me the big ass hairy goal for the end of 2020, not 10,000. I want some more shares. You know what they said? And they said, good. Yeah, we'll give you more shares. Guess what the big ass hairy goal was, Scott? I don't think I've ever told you this. 12,000 agents. What? 12,000 agents? That was the big ass hairy goal? Oh, they had no idea what I was writing in my blue notebook. Do you guys know at the end of 2020, we had 41,000 agents? A year later, we had 7,000 agents. A year after that, we had 86,000 agents. I got news for you. I knew we were going to do it because I had the vision. Scott Lewis had the vision. Rob Flick had the vision. Brent Gove had the vision. Jay Kinder had the vision. Michael Reese had, I mean, I got in business with people that went, gee, whoa. And they said, show that blue notebook with people, Gene. So I have the blue notebook. I have the goals for EXP. I had my goals. Oh, we're going here. Whoa. By the way, we've never hit my goals. Why? They got to be bigger. They got to be bigger. The market kind of shifted, right? Kind of hurt us a little bit. I kind of hit those suckers. I did my 5-year goals, Scott, for my stock in 26 months. They didn't know who they had. They didn't know I'd been the number. They didn't ask me, well, when you were the number one recruiter at Keller Williams, how'd you do it? They never asked. I thought it was funny. I thought they never asked my system, right? I've had a system. I've been very strategic. You guys need to write down what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. Be very specific. By the way, celebrate the small things. Celebrate the small stuff. Celebrate recruiting that first agent, right? Celebrate how it happened. It's not all going to happen at once, but you guys can do it. By the way, the 15% I'm talking to right now, you all can do it because you're the 15% on the call. The 85%, it's okay. By the way, somebody on the call the other day said, Gene, you know what it hit me? Only 15% of EXP agents get rev share. I said, I know. Did you know that? Only about 15% of us even get rev share. And the 15% of that 15% are getting a lot of rev share. Everybody with me today? I'm a little fired up, mainly because I love Tommy so much. I love Scott so much. I love all you guys. Marissa's a sweetheart. It's like we've done this together. Hasn't been Gene Frederick. This has been all of us setting huge goals and go, we're going to do this. I couldn't wait to meet the people from South Korea. And they go, man, he was making these huge goals. And I'm going, this guy's going to do it. Do you know there's 3 times as many agents in South Korea than Canada?
No kidding.
It will be our number one country outside of the United States, bar none. They have 5,000 agents in South Korea. I mean, it's exciting, right? I don't know about you, but I'm excited to go all over the world. This is fun.
All right, that
You,
was awesome.
well, I'm just, I don't know about you guys, but man, there's a reason the 15% succeed. The reason the 85%, if I go to Cabo, I go, hey, show me your goals for the year. And the guy goes, I don't know. I have them. I have them back in my office. And I go, really? You don't have them with you? You aren't looking at them every day? You aren't analyzing them, looking at what works, what didn't work, what works, what didn't work? Does that help you guys? I'm looking at some stared faces. I'm thinking, I think I lost somebody. Robert, I probably lost Robert. No, Robert looks good.
Well, let's take some questions, Gene, all right? Scott,
I'm
you want to
ready.
add to this
I'm
stuff,
ready.
Scott?
Yeah, let's take a couple of questions, and then I'm going to do something special we're having an event coming up here in Puerto Rico at the end of the month. Gino and Tom and I are all going to be there. You're going to get the opportunity to really drill down on some of the stuff that Gene's talked about, right? And so, I mean, he talked about the three-way call. Did you know there is an art to doing a three-way call? I mean, there is an exact way to do it and do it right. We're going to go into that at the event in Puerto Rico. So let's do a few questions, and then we'll talk about the event a little more.
Chris
Who's got a
Caggiano,
question for
I think you
Gino?
got your phone unmuted. Was that, do you have a question or?
No, I just didn't realize it was unmuted.
Okay, no worries.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Ron.
So when you're meeting with an agent, having coffee or whatever you're doing, how do you shift the conversation from them to speaking about recruiting? I mean, Gene said, he sat with somebody and they signed up. How do you move that conversation without talking about yourself to have that agent interested enough to sign up?
Well, what you do, first of all, it usually comes from them. In other words, they're going to say, well, it comes from them. So that gal said, I'm having a hard time going to $20 million in production. I said, well, if we could help you do that, would you consider moving? It was that simple, right?
Okay.
So realistically, I wait until I see their need and I wait for them to ask.
Okay.
And believe me, right, Scotty?
Well, I want to pile on top of that because, and especially with AI, one thing I've noticed in the last year, agents they don't care about what you know. They don't care about your information. They can get everything you know times 1,000 just by going to Chat GPT. They don't give a rat's butt about what you know and what you've done and who you know. They want to know what you're going to do for them. And after I moved to Puerto Rico, had 4,000 or 5,000 agents on my team. I went through a tough time. What am I going to do? I was looking. We're getting some feedback. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So and I haven't told many people this, but after I moved here, and I kind of, what's next for Scott? What am I going to do? And when I decided I was going to go back into EXP, those of you who don't know, I started a team legacy group. We're doing a lot of cool things there. But the hardest thing I ever did, Gino, is I picked up the phone and I called 250 agents that had quit and left EXP. I called 250 of them. I had conversation and I wasn't trying to talk them into coming back. That was not the goal. And I said, I want you to come back. I want to know why you left. And guess what? 187 of them told me. Why did they leave?
Not enough support.
They left
from people
because they didn't feel supported.
Connected.
They didn't feel connected.
Yep.
187 of 250 people said they didn't. And I said, how do we change that? Well, you change that by what Gene just said. She wanted to go from 15 million to 20 million, and he wrote his name on it. In other words, he didn't go into how he was going to do it. He just said, we're going to do it. We're going to get it done. We're going to help you get there, right? When you find out what they want, what they need, what their desire is, rev share doesn't matter. Stock doesn't matter. What you know and what you've done doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is how you're going to help them get what they want. And you go, how am I going to help them? Maybe I've never done 20 million. Do you know somebody here that has? And you become a connector. And you connect them with people that will help them get what they want. Because I promise you, there's only a few things that they want. And there are a lot of people here that can help them get that. And so that's why it's so important to go to the events. It's so important to connect with other people here so you understand what their expertise is. They say they want to build a massive YouTube channel. Great. I know somebody that can help you. I want to be awesome on Instagram. Great. I know somebody that can help you. I want to be an incredible referral agent. Guess what? I know Blake Salmons. He can help you. Right. And then you connect them. Stop trying to recruit them. I never recruited anybody. I let Gene Frederick recruit them. He's the best. I didn't need to do it. I didn't need to because I knew the best. I had the best in my back pocket for whatever they were looking for. We're doing an event in Puerto Rico the end of this month. And close your ears. Close your ears. You can't hear me say this, all right? But here's what I'm going to do. For every single one of you that are here today, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. But before I do that, Gene, why would they want to come hang out with us in Puerto Rico for a day?
Well, you know what's exciting about this, Scott, is that we can get more detailed, right? Oop.
No, go ahead. I'm sharing the Puerto Rico event.
Oh, okay, good. I thought, wait, it's one way. We can really get personal with you and show you how we do it. I can show them, I can get really personal and show them my napkin presentation. I've got a new napkin presentation, right? So I'll show you my new napkin presentation. The things that I can't really show on a Zoom like today, we can really get detailed. Like you said, how to do a three-way call. It's so important. It's really kind of where you're going to get the basic training of how to recruit. You should come to Puerto Rico. If anybody's above in the snow line, you ought to be coming.
Right.
Because I play golf.
The weather's going to be perfect.
You're going to laugh.
You can count on it.
I played golf, Scott. You don't even know this yet. A single out at El Conquistador. Oh, he was a regional director for Keller Williams. Played golf with him for 2 days. It was awesome. But we didn't talk real estate. Does that make sense? I didn't talk about EXP. It's funny. I just got to know him, right? And I'm sitting here going, "Why are you here? Are you kidding? I live out. Let me tell you where I live. Come to Puerto Rico. You will not be disappointed. This is the best time of year."
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So here's what we're going to do. I mean, you're going to get the chance to hear Gene go into more detail. I'm going to share with you in detail how I recruited over 150 agents personally to my team last year. And we're going to give you some real. And by the way, I didn't recruit any of them to RevShare. Not one of them. I didn't recruit any of them. None of them came here because of the stock. They all came for different reasons, but we're going to dig into how that works, and we're going to show you exactly what we did to do that. I know Tom is going to talk to you in depth about how he's recruiting to commercial and how he's crushing it. Guess what? You earn more money from commercial agents. Almost all of them cap. How would you like to recruit more commercial agents? How would you like to recruit international? Tom is crushing it with international recruiting. He's going to go into detail on how to do that. The morning's going to all be about selling more real estate. For those of you that are going, man, I don't have the time right now to focus on recruiting because I've got to pay my bills. Guess what? You need to be here because in the morning, we're going to talk about how to sell more real estate. And in the afternoon, we're going to talk about recruiting. It's going to be an awesome opportunity to connect with other people. This is a leadership mastermind event. We're not inviting everyone, but for every one of you that are here, we're going to, if you sign up today, forget about how you're going to get here. I promise you, plane tickets are cheap. All right. You can get here. It's not expensive. You don't need a passport. All right. It's a U.S. owned place, so you can come here without a passport. Tickets are cheap. You can get a hotel cheap, and there's a million places in San Juan. Don't worry about all of that. Just get your ticket and figure out how you're going to get here. later. And if you sign up today, we're going to honor it's $450. We're going to honor the 147 price. So Tom's going to put a code in the chat for you. And if you sign up today, you're going to get 147. And if you sign up today, Tom, close your ears, for any one of you that brings one other person that comes, we're going to refund you 100% of your ticket price. So all you got to do is go out and find one more person, bring them with you, and yours is free. How about that?
Wow. That's amazing. Excellent. I did not know that was coming, Scott. Awesome.
And I'm going to do even more. For every one of you that come, I'm going to give you 5 of Gene Frederick's books. So Gino, I hope you got a lot of books, because we're gonna put them in the front of the room, and every one of you, I'm personally going to buy 5 of his books, and you're going to take them home with you.
I just typed the code in there. The code is EXPVIP. You'll see the ticket price at $497, and Scott just gave it to you for $147. And if you get a second person, Scott, I guess they reach out to you and me, so we can refund them their ticket.
We'll have a code for them. You just reach out to one of us, and we'll have a code, and then we'll refund it. And guys, I can't emphasize enough how incredible this event is going to be. We're going to pour our heart and soul into it. Tom and I have done a RevShare Pro where we taught for 12 weeks, and we're going to bring all of that into the training. Some of you participated in that. You know how in-depth that is. So we're going to touch on a little bit of all of that. The next day, you're going to get an opportunity to connect with some people here that are building out a blockchain and are working with real world assets. You're going to have the opportunity to connect with these people and learn how to go back into your city and find assets that you can bring to this company that are going to help you in your real estate business, that are going to help you in conversations, that are going to help you connect with other investors. It's going to be an amazing event. And I can tell you, if any single one of you come and you say at the end of the event, Scott, I don't feel like it was worth my time, I'll reimburse you for your plane ticket, I'll reimburse you for your hotel, and I'll reimburse you for the ticket. So if you can look me in the eye and say, Scott, I don't feel like it was value that you promised, then I personally will write you a check and refund you 100% of everything that it costs to get here. If you have to sleep in a bathtub, just get here. All right. It will be worth the time, money, and energy that it takes to get to the event. And big decisions are made at big events always. And I don't know about you, Gino and Tom, but I feel it. The energy is back. The tide is shifting. There are people that are really kicking butt right now and growing the company. And you can be one of those people. And in 12 months' time, you can change your life.
I love it. All right, Gene, you got 3 more minutes. They maybe answer a couple questions. I think Blake had his hands raised, and then I think John Wong has been patiently unmuting his mic. And then looks like Caesar might be up next. So keep your questions to the point, your comments, and then we want to respect Gene's time. Go ahead, Blake, you're up, and then John, then Caesar.
Gene, I'll see you in Puerto Rico. I'll be there. I just need to know, do I need to bring my own napkin?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Okay.
Bring your own napkin.
All right, Blake. Good to I saw
Thanks,
you register, man. Excited to see you in Puerto Rico. John Wong, yes, sir.
Yeah, I think Gene and Scott, you turn on a light bulb for me, because what you described about signing that person up with the promise of going to 20 mil is scary as shit. I can do that, but in my confident, holy fuck, what did I just sign up? Pardon my language. What did I just agree to? And I think what Scott basically said is, I'm not alone. There are people who can make that happen.
Exactly.
And having that happen just once or twice will give me the confidence, man, I can make bold, audacious promises. Also, what you said, Gene, about the 3 simple things, just write it out and have it with you. That in itself, because what happens in my head is I think too much. And I think what I like, sure, I just stop thinking, just do. So thank you.
You betcha.
One specific question for Puerto Rico, is it only for EXP agents or folks who might be interested?
Everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Broker centric. It's a real estate growth event. You could be someone at the other companies looking to grow your revenue share, growing your team, your sales team. the same recruiting principles apply, and the same sales principles apply.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Caesar.
Just a comment. Thank you, all three of you, for fantastic presentations. Sometimes we hear great presentations and we say, this is great, and time happens and we don't do anything. I just want to thank all of you for this. And I just want to show you, Gene.
Yay.
I just ordered your books. I'm going to follow to the
Thank
T
you,
exactly what you just told me. And I'll call you back when I have 100 more agents. That's it.
Thank you very much, my friend.
Excellent. All right. Very good. Well, Gene, I appreciate you. Love you, man. Can't wait to see you in Puerto Rico in less than 3 weeks. Scott, thank you very much. Like
Hey,
I
Tom.
said at the beginning. Yes, sir.
While we're talking, 4 people have registered for Puerto Rico. All right. So
Excellent.
people are taking action. That's what I love. We get in our own way. We talk ourselves out of things, and you have to commit. And I think that's why, Gene's talking about the 15%. Most of us, and you nailed it, Mr. Wong. Yeah, people get in their head and they think too much. Stop thinking. Write it down and take action. That's where take a risk. Take some risk. Without the risk, there's no reward. And we're so afraid sometimes of taking risk. What's the worst thing that can happen? And that's what I always tell myself. If I do this, what'll be the worst thing that could happen? They can't eat me. There's no cannibals in Puerto Rico, guys. Just get on the plane. You'll be fine.
Gene, any last words?
Well, if anybody comes, I'll take them to my office, which is the casino, and I'll give them all $50 and we can go have fun together. There you go.
Excellent. Done. You heard Gino right there. Well, thank you, everybody. Hey, Gene said right at the beginning that 85% have already gave up on their 2026 goals. Not after this call. Make today your January 1st. Just give yourself a break. Tell yourself you gave yourself one extra week at the end of the year to celebrate, and today's your January 1st day. Reset your goals. Go after it, folks. Love you all. That's all Gene, Scott, and I want is for you to succeed in 2026. Take care.
See you guys.
Hey, man. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Gino.
See you, Blake.
Appreciate all of
See
it.
you guys. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Tom.
everyone.
Be good. See you
Thank you,
soon.
guys.